Hey everybody, Paul Mack here. I've got another viewer question from Duncan SH81. This video is going to really help me. We have AGH, and what that stands for is American Guinea Hogs. We have AGH, and I made the mistake of buying 2 sows and 1 boar and assumed I wouldn't have too much trouble selling off the majority of the piglets. Well, here we are with one batch of piglets 9 weeks old and another one 7 weeks old, and no piglets are sold or spoken for. That leaves us with 12 piglets to figure out what to do with. Any particular way you process the younger ones? Well, as you can see, many small farms and homesteads really put a high premium on raising hogs, providing their own continuing supply of pork, and also being able to raise them right there on the farm without having to continually buy hogs and look to see who's selling them. Sometimes they're hard to find, but homesteaders who decide to breed and raise their own hogs for a continuing supply of piglets for a continuing supply of pork soon find out, as Duncan SH81 did, that hogs are prolific. They're a lot like rabbits. They multiply like crazy. You start off with a breeder pair, and before long, you've got 4 times that many, and then 8 times that many, and it just keeps going and going logarithmically. Even the old-time homesteaders, settlers, and pioneers, families would get together and butcher, and they might butcher, several hogs, but that was for several families. A lot of times, a homesteader wants to be able to have enough pork for their family, and the idea of butchering 5, 6, 8, 10 large hogs, well, that's a lot of pork. I don't even know that I'd be able to eat that much pork in a year. And then given the fact that unless you're preserving the meat at room temperature, like the old way of preserving hams and bacon and so forth, if you're freezing that meat, you may find that the fat, which is one of the things that makes the pork taste so good, that fat doesn't last in the freezer as long as we'd want it to. At about 3 months, it's not bad, but at about 3 months in the freezer, that fat begins to be not quite the flavor that it was when you first put them in there. In fact, it just kind of goes downhill from there. So the thought of butchering 5, 6, 8 hogs, even for a large family, is a lot of work, and it's just probably too much pork. So what is one to do? You say, like Duncan SH, well, I'll just sell the extra pigs for a little extra cash, and you find out that there's not a big market for that. Sometimes it's very hard or almost impossible to sell your pigs. Believe me, I know. So I've come up with a plan that works for me, my family, and our farm. I'm able to keep a breeder pair year-round for a constant supply of fresh pigs and plenty of pork without overwhelming my freezer with tons of meat from large, mature hogs. This is how I do it. It's pretty simple. Rather than waiting till wintertime, like is traditional to butcher several big hogs, I butcher smaller pigs as they grow so that I'm not overwhelmed at wintertime, cold weather, freezing time, when it comes time to butcher and scald hogs. I'm not overwhelmed with a whole bunch of hogs that we have to butcher all at once. Here's how it works. Pigs. We'll just say, for illustration purposes, we've got 12 pigs in 1 litter. So this is how this works. A couple of months or so after farrowing, a few pigs are chosen for slaughter. Let's just say 4 little piggies are chosen for slaughter. There's not nearly as much pork as you would have, obviously, on a larger hog, but there's enough pork in those pigs to provide several meals for a couple of months until the rest of the pigs grow a little bit bigger, and then a couple of months down the road beyond that, you butcher 3 more pigs. They're a little bit bigger, a little more pork, but still not a lot, and it's enough that you can eat what you've got there in a couple of months. Then a couple more months down the road, after you've consumed that amount of pork, A couple more pigs are chosen, and they've grown a little bit more. You may have a little more meat than you did on the previous 3, just with those 2. You may have about the same, whatever. Another couple of months down the road, maybe you butcher one of them. And that leaves you 2 pigs left that you can continue growing throughout the year until freezing weather when they're rather mature, and you'll get more meat from them and you can slaughter them the traditional way. If you have a question about today's topic, or maybe a comment that you'd like to add that helps these folks out, feel free, please leave it in the comment section below. We'd all love to read about that. If you're interested, I think you might enjoy my other videos on hog raising. I've got more detailed videos on how I actually keep the hogs here. I use electric fence. You'll see my electric fence system. Also, my method for training pigs to an electric fence so that they don't ever challenge it. Just watch my hog playlist. I'll have it in the link at the end here so that you can see that. Also, I want to remind you, please subscribe to the channel if you enjoy what we're doing. I'm Paul Mack, and next time I'll talk at you later about more pig butchering. Take care. All Morris videos. I watched and enjoyed the whole video, read and enjoyed most of the comments. I still can't tell if it's serious. Well, yeah, just, let yourself go. Watch it and enjoy it, and, I'll tell you when to laugh if you're not sure.